Returning today to some vintage pencils, and in this case, vintage American pencils made in Tennessee, Lewisburg, Tennessee, by the Linton Pencil Company. And we're focusing on the Linton Rancho pencil, which I have several examples of here. Not entirely certain when they were made. The Linton Pencil Company was formed sometime around 1930 in Lewisburg, Tennessee, which is not too far from Shelbyville, which is a pencil city and where Musgrave continues to make pencils to this day. And Lewisburg itself, Tennessee, also still has a pencil manufacturing facility, not for Linton, but Moon Pencils, Moon Products, manufacturing, owned and operated, I think now by Mega Brands. Do I have a Moon Products pencil nearby? Pretty sure I do. Moon Products, J.R. Moon, which J.R. Moon, former employee of the Linton Pencil Company, started his own pencil making outfit in the same city, Lewisburg, Tennessee. Anyway, that was a lot of introductory stuff. The Rancho, you can see it comes in at least these four colors. I have two of the red. We have a product number 444, so model 444. These are all number 2 pencils. Kind of a metallic paint job on each of them. The red, kind of a deep blue metallic, a light blue metallic, and a green. I'm particularly fond of this yellow-green metallic. I don't know what you would call that color, but look how beautiful that is. And notice erasers colored to match. They're all quite aged, so it's harder to tell. But when they were new, the erasers were designed to match the paint job. What a handsome pencil. Now when you find pencils that have bright and exciting paint jobs, they're all either imports from China, or they are simply wrapped in some kind of a foil or plastic wrap. They're not, they don't have these beautiful, like, automotive type paint jobs on them, and that is a darn shame. Even the fonts they used back then are just better than what we have today. We got the script for the Rancho. We have the L for Linton pencils. Linton in all caps, 444, number 2. Brass ferrule on all of these, it appears. I think there was another version of the Rancho that was not in metallic colors, just in a standard paint job. I believe that model number was 22, if I recall correctly. Most of the info I got on these Rancho Linton pencils, as always, comes from Bob Truby's wonderful pencil-related site, Brand Name Pencils, and I'll probably put a link to that site here as well, just because I appreciate all that Bob Truby does, and he has a wealth of information for us pencil enjoyers on his site. So, Linton Pencil Company, founded in the first half of the 20th century, and I'm assuming then bought up and absorbed in some other operation. I think the factory was making pencils for Sanford. So I'm assuming Sanford at some point swept in, purchased it, and just folded it into their pencil empire, and then probably became part of that group that's now owned by Newell Rubbermaid. Could be wrong. All the acquisitions and things, it's a complicated, messy business, apparently. Linton Pencil Company, where was I? They... maybe infamous, a story related on Bob Truby's site where they were involved in a lawsuit. They apparently had shipped a large number of pencils that were labeled made in Israel when they were in fact not made in Israel, and presumably made in Lewisburg, Tennessee, which is not really that close to Israel. But they were sued by the Jerusalem Pencil Company, I believe the story goes. I'm assuming they lost that lawsuit, but yeah, Linton Pencil Company no longer with us. The Rancho, a thing of the past, but a beautiful thing of the past. Look at that. They just do not make them like they used to. Brass ferrule, did I say that? The erasers on all these are obviously gone. No longer useful as an eraser. This second red one, actually, are these the same color? Maybe they're not the same color. They're not the same color. I just assumed they were. Or maybe one was exposed to the light. It looks like one of them is kind of metallic hot pink, and one of them is a metallic cherry red. You tell me what that looks like. I believe there's an imprint on this one that says Made in Tennessee, USA. I didn't notice it on the others. Maybe that's the only one that's marked that way. Yeah, I believe that's the only one. Oh no, this one also says that. Made in Tennessee, USA. Very nice. Okay, so since the red one is nicely sharpened, we'll try that one out. On a piece of paper. I'm actually going to freshen up the point a little bit. This one doesn't seem like it, I mean, it seems like it's been sharpened more recently than the others. So I don't feel like I'm damaging an artifact. These are, I think, pretty obviously cedar pencils. When you're making pen, you set up operations in Tennessee for a reason early in the 20th century so that you have ready access to red cedar. It's just such a joy to write with a beautiful piece of pencil history you just can't even imagine. Let's do a comparison. A modern Ticonderoga. See how the graphite compares. I don't know if you can hear the difference. It just has a different sound. I wonder if that is just the graphite composition or something else involved. The points are comparable, so I don't think it's that. Release the exposure there. Okay, that's better. Very similar graphite, maybe slightly darker on the Rancho. Lovely pencils, made in the USA. Wish they still were. On these parts of the past that we'll just never see again. But in my collection now, I enjoyed trying them out. Hopefully you enjoyed a brief look at the Linton Rancho 444 pencil. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you here again next time.